Hello everyone. So for those of you who don't know who Riley Gaines is a NCAA swimmer swimming out of Penn State University, who was on the same team as Lia Thomas. She has been the most outspoken in terms of the participation of Lia Thomas in professional swimming or in college swimming at the very least, purely because she is, Riley Gaines herself is a fantastic swimmer, someone who's dedicated her life to swimming and has been unable to win any championships or championships is the wrong word, any races or so on, any competitions, purely because she's been competing against Lia Thomas, who is a 6'4" biological male. So this is not a video dedicated to hate. This is I'm reporting the news. This is very, very interesting. This came out 4 days ago, and this is Riley Gaines giving an emotional opening statement at the LGBTQ hearing in front of the Senate. This should be very, very interesting. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. Leave a comment down below of anything else you'd like me to react to, and also head over to my Patreon where you can see more like this in longer form videos for just $5 per month. Let's react to this video of Riley Gaines giving her emotional opening statement.
Good morning, Senators. My name is Riley Gaines. I'm an advisor for Independent Women's Voice. I recently graduated from the University of Kentucky, where I was a member of the UK's women's swim and dive team. I proudly finished my career as a 12-time NCAA All-American, a 5-time SEC champion, the SEC record holder in the 200 butterfly, making me one of the fastest Americans of all time, a 2-time Olympic trial qualifier, SEC Scholar Athlete of the Year, and SEC Community Service Leader of the Year. But all of that to say that it's a lifelong journey competing at that level, and it's impossible to put into words the amount of sacrifice and dedication that it takes. On March 17th of 2022, my teammates and I, as well as female swimmers from universities around the country, were forced to compete against biological male Lia Thomas. Thomas was allowed to compete in the women's division after competing as a member of the University of Pennsylvania's men's swim team for 3 years as Will Thomas. We watched on the side of the pool as Thomas swam to a national title in the 500 freestyle, beating out the most impressive and accomplished female swimmers in the country, including many Olympians and American record holders, by body lengths. Previously, Thomas had been ranked 462nd at best in the men's division the year prior.
Wow.
The next day, I raced Thomas in the 200 freestyle, which ended up in a tie. We went the exact same time down to the 100th of a second. Having only one trophy, the NCAA handed it to Thomas and told me I had to go home empty-handed. And when I asked why, which was a question they were not prepared to be asked, I actually appreciate their honesty, because they said, Thomas, it was crucial. Thomas had it for picture purposes. Thomas had to have it for the pictures.
Wow.
I felt betrayed. I felt belittled. I felt reduced to a photo op. But my feelings didn't matter. What mattered to the NCAA were the feelings of a biological male. In 1972, Congress enacted Title IX to end unjust sex discrimination in all aspects of education, including college athletics. But by allowing Thomas to displace female athletes in the pool and on the podium, the NCAA intentionally and explicitly discriminated on the basis of sex. Although the NCAA claimed it acted in the name of inclusion, its policies in fact excluded female athletes, which are the very female athletes whom Title IX was passed to protect.
Yeah.
But that is not all. In addition to being forced to give up our awards and our titles and our opportunities, the NCAA forced me and my female swimmers to share a locker room with Thomas, a 6'4", 22-year-old male equipped with and exposing male genitalia. Let me be clear about this. We were not forewarned we would be sharing a locker room.
Wow.
No one asked for our consent, and we did not give our consent. And I'll set the scene. A swimming locker room is not a place of modesty. You're undressing, you're fully exposed, and we were forced to take off our swimsuit in front of a man who was doing the exact same thing. If nothing else, I truly hope how you can see this as a violation of our right to privacy, and how some of us have felt uncomfortable, embarrassed, and even traumatized by this experience. I know that I don't speak for every single person who competed against Lia Thomas, but I know I speak for many, because I saw the tears. I saw the tears from the 9th and 17th place finishers who missed out on being named an All-American by 1 place. And I can attest to the extreme discomfort in the locker room when from these 18 to 22-year-old girls, when you turn around and there's male eyes watching in that same room. And I can attest.
So sorry, let's just break this down. So Lia Thomas, or formerly William Thomas, was 400th in the male division and has now been number 1 in the female division. I mean, that says a lot. He was clearly not competitive competing as a man, and now he is very competitive competing as a woman. He's 6'4". How many women do you know? How many female swimmers do you know that are 6'4"? It's a completely unfair advantage. Even if you were to remove testosterone completely from the equation, which you never can, because even though he may be on hormone blockers or certain hormones, he's still gone through puberty and grown to 6'4". He has denser bone mass, denser muscle mass, despite the hormone therapy that he may have gone through, and it really isn't fair. And let's be clear: would you want your daughter to have to undress in a locker room with a towering 6'4" male showing his genitalia to a group of teenage and young and early women of their early 20s? That's just ridiculous. As a father, you would be, and as a mother, you would be absolutely horrified. This is not, oh, you can't accept the fact that he's transgender, she's transgender, or whatever it may be. It's nothing to do with acceptance. It's got to do with right and wrong. Letting him compete is one thing. However, why not make him use the male locker room? But then that would be admitting that he was a man, but he's not a woman, biologically speaking, anyway. So it's really saddening me to see, people women who worked their entire lives not being named All-Americans because they missed out on one spot because they were beaten out by a man who was not good enough to compete with other men. Right, let's carry on.
To the whispers and the grumbles of anger and frustration from these girls who, just like myself, had worked our entire lives to get to this meet.
Sad. And
I can attest to the fact that around the country, these female athletes who opposed the inclusion of Lia Thomas in the women's divisions were threatened, intimidated, and emotionally blackmailed into silence and submission. But unfortunately, our experiences are not unique. The number of female athletes who have been denied opportunities, traumatized, or hurt by policies that claim to promote inclusion is growing at an alarming rate.
Yeah.
I hear these female athletes and their parents, I hear from these people who are seriously injured, one with permanent injuries that will plague the rest of her life, because she was forced to compete against a much physically stronger man. This is unacceptable, and the integrity of women's sports is lost. It's unfair, it's discriminatory, and it must...
Let me reiterate how many times through history people have fought for equality for women. And now what you're saying is that the best college swimmer is a man. That's not empowering at all. That's just taking everything away from women who have worked their entire lives to be the best they possibly can.
Women's rights to privacy, single-sex spaces, and opportunities are being encroached on.
Yeah.
Sports, sororities, locker rooms, dorm rooms, shelters, prisons. Some have tried to tar those of us speaking up for women's safety, security, and opportunities as transphobic or bigoted, and this is untrue. I've heard from people within this...
Listen, that applies to me as well. This is not a transphobic comment. This is purely, I want what's best for these female athletes, because they deserve respect and they deserve to be the best they possibly can be, and they're being stopped from doing this. This is nothing against transgenderism. This is nothing against Lia Thomas. This is only something that is for these athletes.
Gay, lesbian, and trans-identifying Americans that agree females should not be asked to step aside and make room for male-bodied individuals, no matter how they identify. Defending women's rights is not anti-anyone. Believing in biology is not bigoted. And following the science that there are only two sexes and that there are very real and important differences between the two sexes is not hateful, it's fact. I'll end with a quote very briefly from tennis legend Martina Navratilova. There will always be significant numbers of boys and men who would beat the best girls and women in head-to-head competition. Claims to the contrary are simply a denial of science. I thank you guys for listening, and I truly...
Yeah, that's very interesting, because as you know, I think the American national female football team was beaten by a group of teenage boys. Unfortunately, it is the case, and it's an undeniable fact about female and male strength and physical ability. It's nothing not to say women are worse, they're just built different. But they should be able to compete at the highest level, and that should be respected. And at the moment, it isn't being.
Hope you heard my story.
Thank you, Ms. Gaines.
I'm Steve Ducey. I'm Bright.
I absolutely love Riley Gaines. I think she's absolutely fantastic. What she's speaking out for, or speaking out against, should I say, is absolutely incredible. But she's not speaking out against, necessarily speaking out against anything. She's speaking for the rights of women to compete in not only a safe but a competitive environment. Because what reason does she have to compete if she knows she's going to be competing against men? It's not very fair whatsoever. So I totally agree with Riley Gaines. I think she's actually a fantastic person. I think she'll go very, very far in her life, and hopefully she'll continue swimming, whether it's on a professional level or if it's just for leisure. I think she's absolutely great, and I really wish her the best. And also for all those women on the swim team who tried their hardest and didn't make it to be all Americans, that is not your fault, guys. You know, it's not, you know, these decisions that have been made for you, it's very unfortunate. But I totally support what Riley Gaines here is talking about, and I think it's very interesting. Why don't you let me guys know? Why don't you guys let me know down in the comments what you think? I believe we'll probably be on the same wavelength. I will definitely get a lot of hate for this, but that's absolutely fine. This video may not even be posted, depending on whether YouTube allows it to be, but let's see exactly what happens. Thank you very much, guys, for being here and watching me react to this. I absolutely love your support. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one, guys. Have a great day.